This series is not meant to be an accurate representation of the current NASCAR Cup Series. This is a fictional series, ran on NR2003 for enjoyment. I hope you enjoyed today's race.
Welcome to the round of 6. After today, the championship 4 drivers will be chosen, 2 drivers will be eliminated. Talladega is the biggest wild card race of the season. The problem with Talladega is you can fall victim to somebody else's mistake. The big one always happens. Will it happen today, and what playoff drivers will be involved when it does happen? We're moments away from firing the cars up for the second to last race of the season, and the last race before the championship 4 are decided. We'll take you trackside for the command to get these engines fired and get these cars racing on the big super speedway here in Talladega.
All right, guys, let's do this. Drivers, start your engines.
And the engines have been fired. Cars begin to roll off the pit lane, and this is how they'll start the race. Starting lineup brought to you by the NR2003 simulation season. Drivers' nerves at an all-time high here in Talladega. If you're a playoff driver, it's going to be a fine balance of deciding when to make your move, and if you don't like something in the pack, get out. Our 2 highest playoff drivers starting today are Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch. There are only 6 left. Quick reminder, if they have a yellow name banner, yellow spoiler, yellow splitter, as shown in this graphic, that means they are a playoff contender. Keep in mind, after today's race, only 4 of them will remain. And the 4 highest finishing out of those 6 will race for a championship next week in Las Vegas. Talladega, a big track, a wild card, and we're about ready to go racing here on the big 2.5-mile oval. Super Speedway racing can provide some of the most exciting racing, and we're hoping it does that for us today. Pace car pulls into pit lane. Start-finish line all the way around the tri-oval. Green flag in the air. We're racing in Talladega for the round of 6. Elliott quickly to the outside line. He was hoping that Kyle Busch was going to go with him, and he didn't. Field a little bit broken up here. Kyle Busch going to try to get down in line. Christopher Bell letting Kyle Busch in line. Maybe some teammate stuff going on there. 3 wide for the lead. Kyle Busch wants it. Safest place to be at a super speedway is the lead. Already some 4 wide racing here. Austin Dillon and teammate Tyler Reddick. Austin Dillon eliminated from the play. We have 5 wide. Hoping that these drivers can get this sorted out. 5 wide usually does not work at Talladega, but they're making it work right now. Elliott was right smack in the middle of that. Still some 5 wide. 4 wide. This is dangerous here for Elliott and Truex, who are right in the middle of this 4 wide pack.
This is
where things can get a little bit dangerous for these guys. Suarez banging doors, they're 5 wide behind. Suarez down on the bottom lane, Truex 5 wide still. And they make that work somehow. So tight. Tight racing here in Talladega. The whole pack is together. So Daniel Suarez, he's going to move himself up closer to the front. Kevin Harvick, Daniel Suarez, Kyle Busch. And right now, as it stands, Martin Truex Jr. would be your championship 4. Back to 5 wide. Suarez stuck in the middle. Down the front straight. And we have an accident. And it's the big one. Down the back straightaway. It's the big one. And it looks like Daniel Suarez, Chase Elliott also involved. Oh no. Chase Elliott, a ton of damage on the 9 machine. And we knew it. The racing was tight. Daniel Suarez with just as much damage on the 99. Cole Custer being shown your leader. We're going to get a replay of what happened on the back straightaway at Talladega. There was 2 separate incidents here. Keselowski gets spun around, and then the rest of the accident happens after that. And you can see some of these cars come in and huge hit for Ricky Stenhouse. Take a look at that. Stenhouse gets spun in front of all these drivers. And you can see even Kyle Busch looks like he got some damage. Truex with some damage. Stenhouse, look at him. He gets spun down to this angled piece of the wall here in Talladega. Even Kurt Busch, hard hit. Stenhouse, hard hit. McDowell barely misses that, but then backs it down into the wall down here. Blaney with no damage. Truex is stuck right in the middle of this pack. You can see him there. And he just gets squeezed, as well as Chase Elliott. Look at the 19 go up in the air as the rest of these cars crash into him. Justin Haley also with some damage. Yaley with some damage. You can see everybody just tried to get slowed up, but couldn't get slowed up in time. You can see Elliott, he's smack in the middle of all that with a lot of damage. Check another angle here. From the bird's eye view, we'll be able to take a look at what actually happened here. There's the initial accident with Keselowski. And then it was just too many cars in one spot. And you can see everybody crashing into each other. Truex actually gets through this with some damage, but still moving. We're back live here at Talladega. Just had a big accident on the back straightaway. There's the back end of Martin Truex's car. They took the bumper off of it. A couple storylines here. Chase Elliott still on the racetrack. But Elliott right now being shown in 36th position. Daniel Suarez being shown in 39th. We did not have any retirements from that accident. So, big to note, no retirements from the accident. The 2 drivers that would be eliminated are Chase Elliott and Daniel Suarez at the moment. At the front of the field, it is all Cole Custer right now. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with the green flag of the round of 6 at Talladega. Back live, pace car peeling in. Field in the hands of Cole Custer, Bubba Wallace, Eric Jones, Kevin Harvick managed to avoid any incident. Through the tri-oval they come. You'll see a couple little marks on the track that indicates the restart box. There's one, into the box they come, green flag in the air. We're back racing in the round of 6. Highest playoff driver right now, Kevin Harvick. About the only playoff driver that did not get any damage or not involved in that initial accident. Ryan Blaney, minimal damage on the 12 machine. Field extremely spread out right now. You have to think that it will bunch up a little as they get up to speed. Behind these guys, there's Martin Truex Jr. He would be the car that would be in. Take a moment. I'll go through some of our playoff cars and how they got here. Taking a look at our highest running playoff car, Kevin Harvick. Solid season this year. Kevin wins at Martinsville early in the season. A very, very solid run for Kevin Harvick in that 4-team all season long. Right now, Harvick being shown in the 5th position. He would make it to the championship 4, where he is now. The next playoff driver that we are going to come to, Ryan Blaney. No wins for the 12 this season, but Ryan Blaney, a strong car nonetheless. Blaney beat all odds with 0 wins, still making the playoffs, and he's made it to the round of 6. He's our 2nd highest running playoff car at the moment. He would make it to the championship 4 if the race was to end right now. We have to go a little further back to find our 3rd place running car in the playoffs, and that's Kyle Busch. Damage on that initial wreck. Kyle has had a wonderful season. A couple wins for Kyle Busch. First win coming at COTA early in the season. Kyle makes it to the round of 6, right now in a good position, 3rd place in the playoff standings. He would be in the championship 4 if the race was to end right now. Have to go with 2 cars behind him to find Martin Truex Jr. He holds the final transfer spot for the championship 4. Truex, one of those guys, he won at Homestead, trending upward at the end of the season, trending upward when he needs to. That is Martin Truex Jr.'s story. He right now is the 4th place running car in the playoffs, but 4th place gets you into the championship 4. Involved in that wreck early in the race here in Talladega, Daniel Suarez. Suarez right now 5th in the playoff standings. Suarez would be eliminated from playoff contention. His first win of the season came at Kansas, and Daniel Suarez right now trying to chase down Martin Truex Jr. because right now he would be eliminated. This car, Chase Elliott. 4 wins on the season for Chase Elliott. Started the year off with winning the Daytona 500. Unfortunately involved in the big one here in Talladega. This car is way off the pace. Chase Elliott just out there to try to finish the race and hope that there is an accident that takes out 2 other playoff contenders. Right now, Chase Elliott is 6th out of 6th on the playoff standings and would be eliminated from playoff contention. Right now, Bubba Wallace got his first win here in Talladega. Bubba Wallace currently leading Joey Logano and Kevin Harvick. See Kevin Harvick making a move on Joey Logano. trying to get the draft. He's going to give Logano a push. Some of the Fords sticking together here. Bubba Wallace coming to pit road for the 23. Ooh, he looked like he was coming to pit road a little bit quick. We'll have to update you on if he's going to have a penalty or not. He may have been speeding when he came down to pit lane. We will update on that here in a moment. And indeed, Bubba Wallace making his pit stop. Pitted from the lead, the only car to come down, so I'm curious as to this car if he's going to be able to get some drafting help. It doesn't look like it. Very bare track around Bubba Wallace, so a questionable pit stop here. Had a couple other cars coming down as well. Kyle Larson, another car that's coming down to pit lane. So Larson going to make his pit stop here. These are scheduled pit stops, we're being told. Almirola is on pit lane. And the first playoff car to come to pit lane here, Martin Truex Jr. He will pit. Looks like they're going to do fuel only on the 19 machine. These cars still remaining on the racetrack. Kyle Busch sustained some damage in that accident at the beginning of the race, but Kyle, nonetheless, he's been able to cling to the back of this pack that he's been racing with for most of the race. So some speed in the 18 car still. This driver right here trying to move up the field, Daniel Suarez. Right now, Suarez being shown 27th. Chase Elliott being shown 31st. Still those two cars looking at elimination right now. Here comes Chase Elliott for his pit stop. So the 9 comes in. Harrison Burton, he also stops in his pit stall. He was leading this race when he came down to pit. The rest of these cars coming into pit lane now. Daniel Suarez, another playoff contender, comes down to make his scheduled pit stop. So Suarez comes down, he will stop in his box and do fuel only. Our next car, playoff car that is, to come down to pit road is going to be Kevin Harvick. Oh, and a little bit of contact with William Byron. Byron came into pit lane too hot and slammed into the back of Kevin Harvick's car. So Kevin Harvick will sustain some damage from that contact. Hopefully that doesn't hinder that 4 car too much, but that was a pretty solid hit. Take a look at that again. You can see Kevin there. And Byron just comes in just too hot and gets into the back of him. And a little bit of damage for Keselowski too, to the door of William Byron. Nonetheless, Kevin Harvick comes back onto the racetrack. Once these pit cycles stop, we'll be able to tell who is going to be in the lead. Kevin Harvick with some serious damage on the back of that car from the contact with William Byron. Once all these cars cycle around, we'll get an accurate representation of what the field's looking like. So right now, the 16 is being shown the leader, Daniel Hemrick. So Hemrick with a clean entry and exit. But some of these cars that pitted before, it all comes down to, were you in the draft, were you not in the draft? When you came back on the racetrack, were you able to find somebody to work with you? Around through the tri-oval. And indeed, Daniel Hemrick being scored your leader. Right now, bad news if you're a Chase Elliott fan. Chase being shown in the 37th position. On the verge of elimination. But Chase Elliott right now is facing the grim possibility that he will not race for a championship. And if you're a Daniel Suarez fan, you got to go all the way back here to find him, and Suarez is being shown in the 32nd position. He is the other half of that odd man out situation. So Daniel Suarez also facing the possibility of being eliminated from the playoffs. Back at the front of the field, we've got Daniel Hemrick, Bubba Wallace, Cole Custer, and Joey Logano. 4 non-playoff drivers racing for the lead right here. Bubba Wallace has been strong today in the number 23 Toyota. And there he goes, making a move on Daniel Hemrick. We've got a Toyota, a Chevy, and 2 Fords in the top 4. At the line there, that was still Daniel Hemrick, but by only 1/100th of a second. But now Bubba Wallace with the help behind him with Cole Custer. Do not count this guy out right here. Joey Logano, one of the best at super speedway racing. Logano being in 4th and tucked up with this pack. Could be the favorite to win this one here. We're going to be getting the 2 to go. Signal this time by. So Logano looking to the inside of Bubba Wallace. Battle for the lead a little bit further ahead of them between Hemrick and Custer. There is 2 laps remaining. You'll see at the top of your screen, the 2 drivers in the position to be eliminated have not changed. We'll keep you updated. Here goes Daniel Hemrick, clinging right to the back bumper of Cole Custer. But Daniel Hemrick is going to ditch Cole Custer for Kyle Larson, maybe. White flag in the air. That was not the right move for Daniel Hemrick. Battle for the lead is extremely good right now, but I will update you quickly on the playoff situation. Daniel Suarez and Chase Elliott still the 2 that would be eliminated. Your championship 4 at the moment would be Kevin Harvick, Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex Jr., and Kyle Busch. Coming to the checkered flag here. Cole Custer, for the 2nd time, he's going to win. Custer, your winner here in Talladega. The rest of these drivers so close. And Chase Elliott crosses the line. And he will be eliminated from the playoffs. Chase Elliott. The next driver that will be eliminated here, Daniel Suarez. He will come across the line, but Suarez will not race for a championship next week in Las Vegas. For Championship 4, Kevin Harvick. Martin Truex Jr. in the Championship 4, he will advance. Kyle Busch, he will advance to the Championship 4 in Las Vegas. He will race for a championship. And Ryan Blaney, he will advance to the Championship 4 and race for a championship. And Cole Custer survives Talladega and goes to victory lane. The second time this season for the 41 in victory lane. He won back at Pocono. Hadn't found victory lane since. Had been struggling since that victory, but today it's all Cole Custer and the 41 machine going to victory in what was a wild Talladega playoff race. Another playoff race spoiled by a driver who's not in the playoffs. But Cole Custer, nonetheless, will make his trip to victory lane here in Alabama. Stewart-Haas Racing trending upward as far as how drivers are doing, and Cole Custer adding to the win totals here for the Stewart-Haas Racing camp and Ford, and Talladega a very special place to win at. Cole Custer, your winner in Talladega. The round of 6 is over. 4 drivers remain, and 1 race remains left in the NR2003 simulation season, the championship race next week in Las Vegas. Finishing results for today's race will come up now. Cole Custer, you're a winner. Daniel Hemrick finishing up the front of the pack as well. Bubba Wallace having his best run of the season. Big wreck at the beginning of the race. You will notice a lot of drivers that are big names that had a chance to win today, finishing at the bottom of the pack. That is because of that accident that happened that took out many opportunities for drivers. Many playoff drivers also had issues today. But at the end of the day, Chase Elliott, Daniel Suarez are eliminated. Your championship 4, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Blaney, and Kyle Busch will race for a championship next week in Las Vegas. We hope that you'll join us. That is going to be an exciting race. Those 4 drivers are going to duke it out at the 1.5 miles of Las Vegas, and only one will be able to come out a champion, and it will be the highest finishing out of those 4 drivers. We appreciate everybody watching here today for Talladega for the round of 6. We hope to see you in the championship race next week at Las Vegas.